Ask Reddit.
When did you realize you weren't a child anymore? When I realized that just because I have the money for a thing it doesn't mean I can afford it. When I could finally stay up as long as I wanted to and all I wanted to do was go to sleep at 8 p.m. 22nd birthday. Got home from work. No one was home. No cake or balloons waiting. No family waiting with a birthday dinner. I just walked to Papa Murphy's, got my favorite pizza, walked home, and ate alone. I grew up in a big family. 5 older siblings, aunts and uncles always over. It was the first time I was just alone on my birthday. When an adult tried to make small talk about the weather with me. One day I woke up and I was married and had a mortgage. Not sure when all that happened. When people I meet started to take me way too serious. When I started taking care of my family or friends. When you're a kid, you're so used of being taken care of. When I realized that I am going bald already. At least I have no problem growing a non-patchy beard, so I became the typical bald guy with a beard. Edit. Fixed patch beard to patchy beard. When I realized I could eat Nutella for dinner and no one would say a word. I had graduated university, had a place of my own and a job, and was out doing some shopping. It occurred to me that I could and probably should just go ahead and buy some beer and some cookies, not for any kind of event or occasion, but just so I have them in stock at home. I wasn't planning to go home and drink 10 beers and eat a bag of cookies. I didn't even want either of them that day. I was just living a normal life and thought it would be good to have that stuff in stock. When I asked for a Swiffer wet jet as a birthday present. 27 and still not sure. When I had financial freedom from my parents, and began to struggle. That shit hits you like a brick wall. When I moved my bed to the middle of the room, instead of the corner. I had a pulmonary embolism at 21. I sat in the waiting room for 12 hours because they didn't realize what it was at first. Then they began asking me for my social security number and all of this other information and trying to convince me to pay for my service now so I could save 25% off my total bill. Meanwhile I'm sitting here not being able to breathe and feeling woozy and in a lot of pain. I had just gotten out of school and was working part-time, and after this pulmonary embolism I wasn't able to work for a few months. A month of that was spent in the hospital. But that didn't stop them from coming after me. I did everything I could to pay off my bill. Eventually I did. So imagine my surprise when I had a police officer show up at my work and serve me. That's when I found out that hospitals have different departments that charge you separately. So while I paid off the radiology department, the physician's bill wasn't paid and as such they sued me. I think that's when I fully realized that I was an adult and that the world was full of adults whose sole purpose in life was to pull money out of my wallet. When I was 13 I found an old box. I realized I hadn't played pretend in ages, so for the hell of it I sat down in the box and tried to see if I still could. I realized that while I was still an imaginative person, I could no longer see the scenarios and stories I used to play act in my head as a kid. When I pretended to be a princess, goddammit I could practically see the marble halls and unicorns around me. I couldn't anymore. Made me cry. Haha. TBH I keep having such moments. I mean, I'm all grown up, married and mom of 3 kids, but from time to time something comes along reminding me I'm not a kid anymore, and not just the big ones like buying our first house or a new car, but simple things like making my son's breakfast, and realizing now I'm the big one, or going grocery shopping and being able to buy whatever I want, and then not doing so cause it's the adult thing to do. Edit. I'm a mom. Edit 2. Thank you for the gold, kind stranger. Dropped my keys in a grocery store and a little girl scurried over before I could pick them up. She looked proud as punch for saving me from picking something up that was way down there on the floor. I wanted to hug her and smack her at the same time. It's official. I'm old now. When I realized that it costs money just to exist. I had recently moved into my first apartment and just loaded up on groceries at the store. Checked the mail when I got home and discovered my first water and electric gas bills. I remember thinking it is going to cost me money to exist for the rest of my life. When a little girl walked past me and said to her mother, "I like that lady's scarf." La lady? I got the flu and vomited all over my room. I knew I was no longer a child when I was also the one to clean it despite feeling like hell. Edit. Thanks for the silver kind stranger. Look at my comment. All shiny. Edit 2. Also I am really enjoying all the vomit stories coming straight to my replies box. Keep them coming. They range from sweet to hilarious. When being ill became an annoyance. As a kid, you get pampered by your parents and get to stay home from school. As an adult, the responsibilities you have don't magically go away anymore, so you're both miserable and stressed out. I remember it clearly. I had just moved into my first apartment 1,000 miles from my hometown alone. Got everything moved in and set up. Didn't have much then. A bed, a TV, a couch. That was pretty much it. I had a rough day at work. Lots of complaining customers and let me to talk to your supervisor moments, and I was exhausted and emotionally drained. I opened the door to my apartment and there was silence. No noise from siblings. No parents sitting on the couch watching TV. No friends waiting to hang out. Just the oppressing silence of an empty apartment with nothing on the walls. The kind of silence that echoes when you sigh. I stood in my doorway and had the realization that I'm alone in a big city with no support system, friends, or family to help me if things don't work out. It was a lot to take in all at once. Edit. Wow. RIP my inbox. Thank you for the gold kind strangers. Edit 2. Platinum. You all are far too kind. 3. Also, for anyone wondering how I'm doing now, I'm doing great. I'm well into my 30s now and have built up support systems of friends and loved ones. Life is pretty great. It's had its up and its down. So many downs. But overall I'm happy where I'm at. My walls are filled with paintings and photos. My home is filled with love now. Heart.